everybody. Step into my office. Headed back from work now and had something rolling around the old thinker for a while. And that is how to pray and how to hear God. For me, I don't really have this struggle. Like I've never really been worried like how to pray or how to hear God. I guess that just kind of naturally became, or should I say, just became natural for me when I was kind of young. So it's never been really an issue for me. And I've always just been kind of content with not hearing God or not getting prayers like directly answered at times. And then there's times where I will pray and get immediate answers. So without making too long of a video, because I'm driving, and I mean, heck, you know what? Instead of staring at my face, why don't y'all come along for a ride with me on the road here? A little bit more entertaining. It's like watching a dash cam video. So, how to pray? Well, let's start with that one. It's going to tie right into the second one, how to hear God's voice. They're both kind of one and the same in that once you know who you are and what you are and where you are, you won't have an issue with the how to hear God part. You are one with the cosmos, the universe, all of creation, God, all people, living and deceased, all spirits. Jesus talked about this. He said, I and my Father are one. He is in me, I am in him, and we are in you. I don't know if he said it that verbatim, but this is not a concept we grasp, or at least readily grasp or easily grasp here in this life, that we're all one. But we are legitimately one, and a lot of the near-death experience accounts that I have heard and continue to hear talk about the oneness that is experienced once you leave this body. Once your consciousness leaves this body, you basically, a lot of them call it the merging. It's kind of like you're merging, but there really was never a separation. It's just that you're now like, you're leaving the filtration device of your brain and body. That's what's happening. It's not that you were separated, it's that you are now separating from that which kept you muted, basically, or blindfolded to reality. And reality is not blindfolded or muted to you. You are blindfolded and muted to reality, in that the universe, God, all conscious beings, they can hear you, see you, feel you, be with, like they can hear. You're just blinded from them. The blindness and the deafness is on our end, not on God's end, not on the Spirit's end. So, moving on, we are spiritual beings. We are one with God, I already said that, but we are telepathically connected in that sense. I mean, like, literally, there is no separation, there's no distance. You're as close to God as you are to your own thoughts. So, in prayer, so how to pray. Let's get there. I'm mumble and jumble and jump around. Prayer, how to pray. Well, prayer, all you're doing is talking to God in your head. That's it. Simple as that. literally just having a conversation with God in your head, or having a conversation with whoever you want to in your head, for that matter. To take it a step further, whether you want to say something to a deceased loved one, or say something to somebody who's not deceased. You just, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, for whatever reason you'd want to, like, telepathically communicate to someone, for whatever reason. I will say, based on what I've heard from thousands of near-death experiences and spiritual experiences and encounters and whatnot, that love is the currency of the universe, and messages of love or good intentions, I think, get through more easily. But I'm not going to preach that, because I also believe that negative vibes, negative thoughts, they get through too. This ties into, like, why you need to forgive others, and pray for them, pray for those who spitefully use you and those who curse you and whatever, because they're thinking all kinds of negative vibes, negative thoughts of you, and potentially could be holding you in a sort of spiritual or mental state of prison or something, you know. Who knows? I'm not getting, like, the church, some charismatic churches will get into this, and they'll talk about, you know, like, I'm breaking off the curses of the enemy, you know. It's like, well, I mean, in reality, it's not so dogmatic and like ultra mystical, as much as it is, like, think of it like you and an enemy have thoughts toward one another. Let's say you're sitting there, you're not just, we won't use the word enemy, maybe it's somebody that offended you earlier, like they said something about your kid or your spouse or something, and it just got under your skin, and you are just, and you know whatever it was not true, but you know that person still actually believes that, and they just, and they're doing something, you know, that really, like, let's say your kid was mistreated at school by a teacher, or, you know, I'm just trying to come up with an example for you to just kind of build a picture in your head. Anyway, so everybody's had this instance where they've been just pissed off at somebody at some point, or offended. You know, the thoughts that you're having towards this person, little do you know, there's a good possibility and probability that that person is being affected by your thoughts, the vibes that you're putting out into the universe. Sorry to sound all new agey, but it's not all new agey. This is like the stuff Jesus was trying to get through to you guys and us. And, you know, like, it's beyond religion. It's beyond superficial spirituality and, you know, fake humility. It's reality. Like, he's trying to introduce us to reality. There's a reason we shouldn't hold grudges and should forgive quickly and be reconciled. Like, if you know somebody's got something wrong with you, go be reconciled with that person, so they're not holding it, you know what I mean? Like, they're not holding you in bondage to anything, or they're not holding themselves in bondage, that bondage of anger and fear and whatever it may be, while they're mad at you, and you could fix it all. Obviously, sometimes you're going to have to apologize when you honestly believe you were not in the wrong, but whatever happened to love thy neighbor as thyself and love God with all your heart? Like, at what point are you going to step up, if you claim to be a Christian, that is, and actually, like, walk the walk? I know it's not easy. I don't walk it perfectly. So don't feel like I'm sitting here on a high horse telling you what to do or to guilt trip you. I'm not. What I'm saying is, go inside and just ponder these things and just chew on it. And, you know, I mean, just consider it. Like, obviously, what I'm saying is, like, there's wisdom in what I'm saying. I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just saying, and I know you feel me, this is just a nugget of wisdom. It's what Jesus was trying to portray. He's saying, don't hold grudges against people. Reconcile with people that have grudges against you. No matter what you got to do. Stop what you're doing, drop what you have, You know, there's something in the universe. There's some universal law in the spiritual that we can't put our finger on. We can't define. You know, people write books on what the spiritual world is all about, and the heaven, and this and that, and you get various different religions and faiths, and trying to like narrow down or define and describe what the spiritual. We can't. No, that's pointless. It's a waste of time to even try that. I mean, you can, because I mean, I'm not saying you can't experience it and gain an understanding of what it is and how it is and whatnot, but you're not going to be able to put it into words. Nobody has been, and nobody will. And when you try, all you're doing is making a mess and honestly just probably leading people astray. But back to the point, how to pray. Well, you're just talking to God. You're telepathically connected with everything that exists. God is in everything that exists. Everything is in God. And God is in you. And we are one. Now, hearing God. I think this does take some practice. It may take some time. It may not. This is between you and God. This is between you and your skepticism. Throw out lack of faith. Forget faith. Stop talking about or thinking about faith. Well, maybe I don't have enough faith. My preacher man told me I didn't get what I wanted because I didn't have the right. I didn't have the right heart. You know, I didn't have enough. Stop it. That's 2,000-year-old stuff, you know, like you don't know what, you know, the whole thing about if you have enough faith, you'll move a mountain. Well, they understood that back then, like just don't be skeptical and understand that you're telepathically connected to the creator of the universe and created in his image and likeness, and you'll have whatever you want, you know, like, but understand the fundamental tenets of your being are pure love and other-centeredness. So, you know, it's not about, well, maybe I gotta pop a hernia and conjure up some more faith, or maybe I'm failing in the faith, you know, like, or maybe I gotta pray more, fast more, do spiritual warfare. You know, it's like, no, the DIY religion doesn't help anybody. It just creates, just makes you deeper into a cult. Like you're just getting deeper into the cult that manipulated you into believing that you needed to follow 1, 2, 3 steps in the program and tithe and all that crap. So anyway, you're telepathically connected to the source of everything and the creator of everything, who is your father, who relates to you like, honestly, like any personal relationship you can think of. Whatever you know, like I said, I hate to keep sounding new agey. I don't listen to anything new agey, but I know within Christendom, if you're a Christian, what I'm saying can sound very quote unquote new age, but you got to toss that dogmatic mindset out the window and hear what I have to say. Whatever you vibe with. The reason I'm saying vibe is because we're all made up of light. What is light? Light is waves of frequency. What is frequency? It's vibrations. Okay, so now we got that out of the way. Now you're okay with me saying vibe. It's not just a kitschy term. It's a legit thing. Like there's lower vibrations and higher vibrations. You know, I personally don't like talking about how lower vibrations are evil and higher vibrations are holy or good. I don't jive with that. But I may be wrong. Doesn't really matter. I just don't care. Anyway, I feel like it's not a matter about how high or low your vibration is. I think it's about how in tune your vibration is with whatever or whoever you are trying to communicate with telepathically. You know, when you're using a tuning fork to tune, I don't know, a piano string or something. Well, I don't know, look up videos on tuning forks and syncing them up. Like, it takes a little practice. It takes tuning in. Anyway, so back on track here. When you're practicing your, like, literal telepathic communication with your father, oh yeah, I was saying when I got off on that vibe rant was, God will interact with you not just as father. He's never going to interact with you as a far-off sky god that you think exists and that you think hates you or that you think is angry at you for not living up to a certain standard. He's never going to interact with you on that plane of understanding. So if you think, so first of all, if you want to get, so like you have like, I don't know, like a scab, I don't know, a callus over your connection, your telepathic connection. And that is a false understanding of who God is, his nature. So if you think he's angry or potentially angry with you or upset with you in any way, that's a callus. You're going to have to, it's going to be a lot harder for you to hear him or interact with him. And I say him, but it's God is a spirit. He's not a him. He's not a her. You can call him or her. In fact, the Holy Spirit in the Hebrew is a female, I don't know what to call it. It's not a pronoun, but anyway, like when you say the term that we've translated to Holy Spirit, it's female. It's not masculine. Or feminine, not female. But anyway, so if you want to telepathically commune with God, like understand that he's happy with you, he's content with you. The whole idea of sin and doing things wrong, none of that matters. It never mattered, ever, 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 ever. The whole reason why he came to die on the cross and give his life and whatever has nothing to do with your bad deeds. Absolutely nothing. Christianity has become a religious cult and changed. It evolved to something that it was not originally. It has become a religious cult that is focused on actions, people's deeds, lawlessness. Mankind, since darn near the beginning of time, has tried to figure out how to control each other, and having legal systems is how people have been able to corporately control each other. And breaking the laws are how, it's just, that's the consequences that are set in place, so people will be afraid of breaking the laws. They got to have a way to back it all up, a way to enforce the laws. Anyway, God doesn't operate like that. Jesus came because we're screwed up. We're so calloused. We have this wrong view of God. And he's sending servants and prophets and stuff, and we're just killing them left and right. By we, I just mean humanity 2, 3, 4, 5,000 years ago. And like as prophets come, they get killed off or not listened to. And God's just trying to send us this message. Well, finally he comes himself in the form of his son, or a son, or whatever, however you want to call it. Jesus is the Son of God. But it's God incarnate. He came as himself, or as the Son, to bring us this message of reconciliation. He wants us to be reconciled. Look it up in the Bible. He brought the message of reconciliation for the whole world. There was nothing about eternal damnation for anyone. Hellfire and all that crap was inserted into Christian doctrine, dogma, and texts in the centuries following early Christendom. Like the first 400 or 500 years, the church were unabashedly universalists in Christ. Like they believed that Christ was God incarnate and came to portray goodwill toward all, good tidings toward all. His heart is like he's got the heart of a father that's torn and broken because he misses his children. That's it. He doesn't like seeing his children fight. He doesn't like seeing his children sick and dying. He doesn't like seeing his children blind to their true identity in him. And as creators that don't have to live in sickness and poverty and be in content or discontent and fight each other. So anyway, off track, but it all ties together. Like how to pray. Obviously, you're telepathically one with all of creation, all of the universe, all of the unseen and seen. You're telepathically one. Literally, you can close your eyes and, well, you don't have to close your eyes. You can literally, as I'm driving down the road right now, stop what you're thinking, focus your thoughts on something or someone, and say something. And I mean, I personally believe the more you focus on it, the more, I don't know how to really term it, like energy and thought you like push into this thought. Like if you're trying to get a message to somebody, the more likely you're going to be able to get it through. And like I said before, love is the currency of the universe. So if you're trying to communicate something, everything's founded on love. Like if you're trying to warn somebody or give somebody just an update or just say hi to somebody, but like you start getting into like hateful thoughts, like you start trying to transmit negative things and negative energies, I think it's going to turn around and bite you in the butt. I don't know how or why, but I think everybody kind of just, I mean, once you get practiced in this, it's just annoying. I don't know. You know, like there are obviously like negative spiritual people in this world, you know, witches, you know, Satan worshipers, you know, whatever, that actually try and push negative vibes on people, negative thoughts, quote unquote curses, and legitimately cause havoc. But like, they never have a good life. They're damaged people. They need healing. They need reconciliation. The reason why they got into that in the first place is because they were hurt or damaged in some way. And now they just are stuck in this prison of fear, pain, and hate. And they just want to throw it up on the rest of the world. Anyway, off track again. Well, not really. It all ties together. So, how to hear God's voice. Okay, we talk about how to pray. Praying is easy. You're just shut your mouth and start talking in your head to God or whoever you want to. Okay, how to hear God's voice. The calluses, you have to try and, well, first of all, start talking. Just start talking. Ask him questions. Ask him where to show you his true nature, and be converted and become as a little child, like Jesus said. This stuff is a lot easier than you think. It is not complicated. It is all you're basically like, pretend like you're having a conversation with yourself in your head, and you're basically having a conversation with God. That is what is happening. Now, obviously you're going to be skeptical, like, well, I'm just talking to my imagination and I'm making it all up on my own. Well, that is the equivalent of a lack of faith. You're being skeptical. Now, listen, yes, you can very well be making crap up on your own, and you know, there's a lot of charismatics running around that talk about, oh, thus saith the Lord, or God told me this, or God told me that about you. You know, like, you can be a very dangerous and reckless person if you take this wrong and use it wrong. Like, this is a really powerful understanding to have, because you could ruin some people's lives if you take this wrong and you build some, like, a position of authority, even if it's just a friendship. If you're respected among people, and they know you have this connection with God, and you say something like, God showed me you are supposed to go do this, quit your job and go do that, you know, and then they go and take your advice because they respect you, and now you go and screw up your life. That wasn't God at all. You know what I mean? Like, so this is between you and God. What I'm trying to say is, you're going to have to cultivate this over time. God wants to talk to you. Ask him. Our job as Christians is not to push dogma on people. It's to point people to their true identity and to God within them. I'm not trying to tell you, well, I guess I am kind of trying to tell you who you are, but it's the purpose of it is to point you to your source. Like, point you to the good news, point you to God. I'm not trying to say, follow me, listen to what I have to say, believe every bit of what I have to say. No, I'm saying this is the truth that I am aware of, and I'm passing it along to you because it's freaking great news, and you have absolutely nothing in life to worry about. Death is going to be the most pleasant and blissful experience you'll ever have. I mean, what better news in the world? Like, why would I not want to share it? You know, the hardest thing for me is getting time to share, and growing apathetic, and, you know, just with the grind of life. Anyway, this video is running a lot longer than I anticipated, but it is what it is. So, how to hear God? Like, just start talking to him, and you'll start hearing him. Like, he'll actually talk to you. Ask him simple questions. Like, God, do you really love me? Show me. Or God, am I where you want me to be in life? Or God, is there? Now, okay, back up a second here. Stop saying God. How do you want to relate to him? How do you want to relate to God? What would make you feel the most comfortable? Now, for some people, for a lot of people, it might just be God. You may actually, like, when you think of the term God, you may envision this really fatherly, relatable, personal relationship you have with God. Great, keep doing it. But, if God for you is this far out, distant, separated, I'm not sure if he's ever heard my prayers or wants to reply to me figure, then stop saying God. Because God doesn't even mean anything. It stems from the word in, I think, Latin, good. It's not a name. God is not a name. It's not an adjective even. It's not even a description. It's a word we've just kind of evolved into using for the source of all things. I don't really like using the word source either because it's kind of depersonifying. I'd say like a lot of, really mystical Christians nowadays are going more towards like, dad, daddy, papa, whatever, whatever floats your boat, or like mom, heavenly mom. I don't know, like brother, sister, spirit helper, whatever you can conjure up, or maybe ask God what he prefers to be called for you. What do you have? What's between you and him? Is there a name that's between you and him that's like in your secret place? What do you vibe with? Because he's right there with you. He's closer than your skin. He's closer to you than your own thoughts. And he will talk to you. And it's going to be telepathic. And it's going to be clear eventually the more time and energy you put into focusing on it. And ask for help, And not only ask God for help, like we're all in this universe together to work with each other. Like you can ask spirits, other spirits. We have angels, talking to like deceased people and stuff like that. Now that's a whole other topic of conversation. If that's your jam, you think people are hanging out with you that have died and they're hanging out to help you out, go right on ahead and talk to them. You're not committing any heresies or blasphemies or, demon worship or any BS like that. If that's your jam, if that's what you feel like, but talk to them and expect to hear back, like they're sitting right next to you, because they're closer than that, and they want to communicate. You just need to peel off the calluses by practicing this, and by getting a right mind, renewing your understanding of how one you are and how loved you are with all of the universe. And like, God is personified. He's not just this disembodied mass, invisible thing that makes up a mist that fills and indwells everything. No, God is very much personified. He's very much a person. That's why we call him a he. It's not just because for thousands of years the world was, ruled by men. Like, God was called a he. Probably because thousands of years ago, God, when he showed up, like to Moses and Abraham and whatever, just seemed like more of a leader, warrior, whatever. I don't know, maybe not really warrior, but like leader. And it's just a human tendency for the males in the tribe to be the leaders and and the protectors. You can, but see, the same thing can be said that God is our comforter. Well, it's usually the more feminine in the tribe that are of that, role. Now, guys can be comforters too, but like, you know what I mean? I'm going off on a rant here that has absolutely nothing to do with this topic at hand. So anyway, yeah, just you are telepathically connected to everything and everyone, including God. And you can talk to God and hear back right now. Now, if you start practicing this, maybe watch this video a few more times, like over the coming weeks, not for the sake of like learning anything new, or maybe you missed something, but no, just as a reminder. Just as a reminder, like Martin Luther said, we need to hear the gospel every day. We need to be reminded of the gospel every day. It's not that we need to return to the elementary fundamentals every day. It's that, like, if we're living this day-to-day mundane life, we get busy. We get apathetic sometimes. You know, it sucks that we get into this cycle of, like, you forget to talk about and think about your spiritual relationship with God that's equally, if not more important than like a marriage or a father, son, parent, child relationship here on earth. Because we can't see it with these eyes, it grows, quiet. It doesn't go anywhere. It's still there. He's still here. He's still there helping you every day, regardless of your, like, he's living life through you too. So just like, you don't have to feel guilty for not talking and praying to God. He's literally living vicariously through you, enjoying his creation through you. Why not be aware of him in you and live with you'll never be lonely when you know this. Like, lonely people, all they are is unaware. That's it. There's the cure for loneliness. That one's for free. Take that one for free. You're never going to be alone. You literally are never alone. And when you're quiet, I'm sure, God would rather be talking to you, like any friend sitting next to you in a car or at a dinner table. It's like, but anyway, so I think we've gone far enough into this. God does talk. He does not only will talk to you, but he actually is talking to you. You just you haven't figured it out yet. Ask him to show it to you. Ask him to make it more clear. Just be relentless. Talk and talk and talk. And don't forget to stop and listen. And it might not come the way you think it's going to come. You got to be open, What if he starts off talking to you through like synchronicities, or through coincidences? Like maybe you had someone die and they liked a certain kind of bird, and that bird just shows up and lands on the mirror of your car while you're sitting at a stoplight. Like stuff like that. It's like, don't be skeptical of everything. Stop being a skeptic of everything. You live in a universe that, like, what we see with what is natural, what is three-dimensional, makes up a fraction of what is actually reality. Like the heaven and the real universe on the other side of the veil makes up infinitely more of what is reality than the little bit we participate in on this side of the veil. So to say that these little synchronicities and coincidences are just happenstance is basically just a meter or a gauge of your ignorance, naivety. That's all. Nothing wrong with it. We're all growing. We're all on a journey. And, but here's the thing though, you may have somebody trying to communicate with you, like an angel or a passed on loved one, someone they're, and maybe they're not necessarily, if it's not a clear message, don't take it as a message. I will say that, like, if you're getting synchronicities or something and you're getting things that you're not, well, it's like, okay, well, if I'm not going to be skeptical, if I'm going to believe that, what am I supposed to get out of it? Like, a bird lands on my mirror and it was my dad's favorite bird. What am I supposed to get out of that? Is it giving me a message? Now I'm going to be thinking about this for the next 6 months, thinking, what was he trying to tell me? It was a waste of time. No, he wasn't trying to give you a message other than like to say hi. What's wrong with saying hi from the other side? That's the whole point of relationship. Relating, communing, like, just say hi. Hey, how you doing? I miss you. Can't wait to see you. Literally just the sharing of relationship. Love, comfort, encouragement. Like, your purpose is to just love and be loved. Learn to love, show love, and enjoy life. and be content and find joy when life is not joyous and when it is difficult. It'll be a lot more peaceful if you know how to pray and hear from God in times of trial. So that's it for today. I just I'm rolling into my neighborhood, so thanks for watching. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the ding dong bell so you get notified when I put a new video up. Drop a comment down below, even if it is to say hi. I want to see if anybody's like, where in the world are you watching this from? What part of the country? The United States? What part of the world? What country? Yeah, shout out where you're from. If you have any questions for me, you know I'm definitely not a super scholar in this stuff, but I'm definitely opinionated, and I have been around the church block, so you are welcome to my opinions. So drop a comment and I'll share my thoughts, and that's all it is. You take my thoughts with a grain of salt, and you develop your own opinions. So yeah, thanks again for hanging out.